Welcome back to another episode of the GCN Tech Clinic, where I aim to help and solve and fix your bike-related problems. So if you've got one, make sure you leave it for me down there in the comments section below, or alternatively on all forms of social media using the hashtag AskGCNTech. As ever, let's crack on with the first one this week, and it comes in from Christian Avila, who says, "Hi John, I'm riding a Scott CR130 with a Shimano Octolink crankset. I'm looking to install a 105 5800 crank. What BB would I need to get? Thanks and love the show." Right, nice and simple one here, Christian. You can put any Hollowtech 2 bottom bracket in there, but the one that's going to match up perfectly in terms of quality and also an equal sort of price bracket too is the BBR60. I think it's called, yeah, it is the BBR60 still, and that's going to fit perfectly into that Scott frame. Just make sure you get one with an English thread or a BSA thread so it's going to match up with those internal threads. Go ahead and fit one. Next up is Jericho Manou, I hope I got that one right, who says, new biker here from the Philippines, just want to know what is the best way to mix Shimano group sets like the 105 R7000, Ultegra R8000 and Dura-Ace R9100, including the Di2s, planning to upgrade by August. Right then, Jericho. Well, all 11-speed Shimano components are interchangeable on the road with one another, so that's all okay, as are Di2 components. The only ones you need to be worried about are the older 10-speed Ultegra range, because they use a different type of cabling system, or rather they don't actually talk to one another like the 11-speed components do. The different cabling systems that I was speaking about is actually with the original 10-speed Dura-Ace Di2, but you'll be all okay there. And after all, 105 that isn't available in an electronic version, but you can use a 105 11-speed chainset with Shimano Ultegra 11-speed derailless. It's going to be absolutely fine. They all work in harmony. Right, next up we've got Mr. Traffic Safety. I do like a bit of safety. Safety first, always. Right, so Mr. Traffic Safety says, I'm looking to upgrade my cyclocross wheels. What will make more of a difference? Outdated carbon wheels with a narrow rim profile, or a set of newly designed aluminium ones with a wider profile? I'm a heavier rider at 90 kilos and I would like to put 33 to 40 millimeter tyres on the bike. Right, well personally I would go for the wider ones because it's going to be easier for you to put cyclocross tyres on for a start. Sometimes they can be a little bit of a struggle. Plus, the alloy wheels are actually going to give you, well, better braking in all weather conditions, because sometimes carbon ones, particularly if you're using rim brakes, can give sort of suboptimal braking, if you like. You have to really anticipate your braking quite a bit more. So I would probably err on the safe side there. And also, you don't want to go buying outdated kit unless, of course, you're building up a retro bike. Okay, next up, we've got Geordie Valoy, who says, hey, John, thanks for solving all of our technical bike problems on this show. I'm looking to buy a new handlebar, lighter and more aero. However, my bike is equipped with the Di2 junction box in the end of the handlebar. Do I need to buy a specific bar for the Di2 ones, or does it fit into most handlebars? Also, on the other side, my bike uses disc brakes. Do I need to do anything specific when changing the cables and such? Cheers. Right, Yordi, I would recommend that you do actually buy a pair of handlebars that are purposefully drilled for that Di2 cable, because like you say, you've got the junction box, it goes in the end of the handlebar, those cables have to pop out somewhere. Yeah, I know, you could well drill your own hole in there and everything would be fine, but are you willing to take the risk? Because when we go down there on the end of the handlebars, it tends to be during, well, quite hard and intense efforts, and you don't want to risk anything coming away. So I'd definitely go for the purpose-built, so the factory-fitted or factory-drilled handlebar. As you also mentioned there about your disc brake hoses and everything, no, it's not too difficult. Nothing really to watch out for. It's very likely if you are going to be taking them apart and rerouting them, you may well need to rebarb them, because it's quite likely you're going to need some new hoses depending on the internal routings you're going to have and everything like that. It's not anything which is too stressful or anything. Just do take your time with it, because when you're fiddling around with the mineral oil and everything like that, it can be quite messy stuff and you don't want it to go everywhere. So just take your time and follow the instructions that the manufacturer provides for you. Next up is Antown, who says, my rear derailleur moves inward when clamping the quick release on the frame. Is that common? Right, this is pretty common, and in fact it's more common on bikes which have two tiny little fasteners for that derailleur hanger, as opposed to an older style frame that tends to use one almost chainring style bolt, or a through axle which doesn't affect it in as much detail. So the reason being, when you tighten up that quick release, it applies loads of pressure obviously on both sides of the dropout, and if those tiny little grub screws, almost, they're tiny, they're like M3 or M3.5 thread, if they're not done up tight enough, then the rear derailleur can often move, or rather the derailleur hanger does. It's purely because of the pressure you're applying onto it. This is particularly common with sort of a cast aluminium derailleur hanger as opposed to a CNC machined one, which tends to be a little bit stiffer, a little bit bulkier, and certainly worthy of upgrading. But this brings me on to my next point, and that is that when you're actually tightening up your quick release, after that's done, then is the time to index your gears. If you index them and the wheel is quite snug in there, but it's not really tight how you should have it, or obviously not super tight, but tight enough that it does actually leave an indentation on your palm when you do up that skewer, then ultimately your gear indexing is going to be all out of sync, and you're not going to be able to get into your highest gear, so either the 12 or 11 sprocket, whatever you've got down there. So certainly always index your gears after you've tightened that rear wheel, but do check that those screws are snugly tightened up, not too tight because they're very small heads on them and it's easy to round off. Maybe apply a little bit of Loctite on there, a medium strength certainly, something like the blue colour. Right, now we've got JN. Could be Jen, don't know. Hi John, I'm getting a pinging sound when my rear wheel is under torque, usually when grinding gears at a low cadence. Do you know what that might be? Thanks a lot, Jim. So it's obviously Jim N. Okay, right, sometimes it could be the spokes actually rubbing or flexing on one another. And like you say, when you're putting a lot of torque through with a low cadence, you tend to be putting loads of power through there. It's normally when you're going up a hill. Alternatively, maybe it could be the actual inside of your derailleur, so the sort of inside of the cage itself, just pinging slightly onto the spokes. So it's just catching on every one or other, because the spokes aren't always coming out exactly the same angle when you look at them, depending on if they're bladed or not. So I'd have a look at that. If it is that, if it's dangerously close when you're just actually behind the bike, got the bike in a work stand, pedaling it around, just give that L screw a very slight turn clockwise just to try and bring in that derailleur a little bit. Hopefully it's one of those and you can, well, get to grinding up those hills, but in, well, relative silence. Next up is Shane Burgle, who says, I'm getting a rhythmic click sound as I pedal. It goes away when I freewheel. Do I need a new bottom bracket? It's only a year old, but maybe I installed it badly. Right, Shane, a few things to check here, and I've just got to say I hate a tick or a creak on a bike. So check the pedals are nice and tight, check the chain rings are too, also make sure that skewer is tight too, and give it a dab of grease too, and also around the actual dropouts where the axle sits in there. Those are the, well, like I say, the normal victims or normal causes of that sound. Failing that, then yeah, it could well be a bottom bracket. Perhaps it needs just torquing up slightly, or alternatively some grease or anti-seize, something like that. But we have actually got a whole video dedicated to clicks and creaks and all those irritating sounds. So if you want to find a link to that, just click up there, top right hand corner, and you will see a link to that video. Right, penultimate question this week comes in from Marshall Emmett, who says, I'm building an aluminium Cinelli Vigorelli frame set and I'm planning on getting a SRAM Omnium crankset. Will the included GXP bottom bracket work with my frame? Marshall, nice frames. Yeah, a threaded GXP bottom bracket will work absolutely fine with that frame. It has a British thread on those frames. Years and years ago, Cinelli frames, of course, would come with an Italian thread, but not many bikes do these days. So yeah, it's going to work absolutely fine. Send us in a picture for the bike vault, actually, when you finished that bike, because I do like a Cinelli Vigorelli. Right, final question this week comes in from Patrick Kelly. I have an FSA square tapered crankset on my bike. Can I replace it with a Hollowtech 2 one? Another bottom bracket question. And good news, Patrick, my friend, yes you can. All you need to do is actually put a new Hollowtech 2 bottom bracket on there. So of course, obviously, it has no axle built in because the axle will come on that crankset. You're going to save yourself a lot of weight by doing that as well. So good luck with that one, and why not weigh it before and after and let me know just how much you've saved. Right, I hope I've been able to help answer and solve your bike related problem. If you've got one, remember, leave it for me down there in the comment section below, and also remember to like and share this video with your friends too. Big old thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Click that little notification icon so you get alerted each and every time we put a video up. And also, why not check out the GCN shop at shop.globalcyclingnetwork.com. Whole heap of goodies, including some limited edition here and there. You never know what you're going to find on that. And now, for another great video, how about clicking just down here?